One day, everything came to a halt. No signals, no servers. A massive cyber attack destroyed the world. Banks shut down, shopping malls were engulfed in darkness, and even the government systems crumbled. Everything connected to the internet was wiped out. The rich built high walls around the city while the poor and criminals were pushed out. The poor had no place in the city, and the criminals were becoming a threat to them. Outside the city, there was no light, no food. Criminals began robbing anyone trying to escape the city, and the poor became scavengers. With no food left, people started turning on each other for survival. The only rule that remained was to stay alive. Among the survivors is John, who wasn't a criminal but was certainly poor. However, he had worked hard enough to make a life for himself, allowing him to venture into the city. Outside the city, some people worked as milkmen, delivering goods from one city to another. As they traveled, some would loot the goods they were meant to deliver. John was one of these milkmen. When John arrived in New San Francisco with his supplies, he met Raven, the chief operations officer of the city. Raven wanted John to go to New Chicago to receive a package for her, as she knew no one else could handle the journey and the dangers it posed better than him. Raven offered John citizenship in New San Francisco in return for completing the mission. Though the mission was highly risky, John agreed to the deal after some hesitation, as living in New San Francisco had always been his dream. Raven's offer of citizenship meant the job was extremely dangerous and the journey would be long. She gave John 10 days to complete it and warned him that if he was even one day late, the deal would be canceled. During the deal, Raven introduced John to her husband Nova and her daughter Dove. The three of them had lunch together. However, after John left to pick up the package, Raven's true nature was revealed. Her husband and daughter weren't real. They were part of her plan to emotionally manipulate John into taking the job. By making John believe that Raven needed the package, he was more likely to accept the mission. Meanwhile, outside the city, siblings Loud and Quiet are fleeing from Agent Stone. After running for a while, Agent Stone blows up their car, causing an accident, and they are captured. Stone gives them a choice. Either he will kill them both, or one of them must kill the other. Under pressure, Loud shoots himself to save his sister, Quiet. On the other hand, John goes to visit his old friend Tommy to get maps of the New Chicago route. Upon hearing about the maps, Tommy warns John that going to New Chicago is extremely risky and could cost him his life. However, John ignores Tommy's warning and sets off on his long journey. As John travels through Las Vegas toward New Chicago, he meets Quiet, who stops him at gunpoint. Looking at Quiet, John quickly realizes she's running from someone. During their encounter, they meet Sweet Tooth, the ruler of Las Vegas, who turns out to be a psychopathic clone. Seeing Sweet Tooth coming towards him, John decides to, instead of fighting Quiet, John decides that both of them should cooperate to get out of the situation. Quiet agrees to the plan, and together, they try to escape from Sweet Tooth. However, when the opportunity arises, Quiet steals John's car and drives off with Evelyn. What she doesn't realize is that John has been dealing with people like her long before she was even born. Without wasting any time, John somehow manages to stop Quiet. After a while, as John and Quiet are trying to escape from Sweet Tooth punctures the tires of John's car, leaving them no choice but to hide in Las Vegas. As Sweet Tooth approaches, Quiet, in fear, abandons John and runs away, leaving him to be captured. To save himself, John faces Sweet Tooth, but John cannot last long against Sweet Tooth and, reluctantly, has to give up. Sweet Tooth takes John to a casino and plays kill music, intending to execute him. However, John, wearing a shroud of inevitability, isn't afraid of death. Instead of panicking, he starts jamming to the music with Sweet Tooth, which amuses him. Impressed, Sweet Tooth befriends John and decides to let him go, but not before making him attend Sweet Tooth's show. During the show, John learns that Sweet Tooth has been alone since the apocalypse, turning into a psychopath due to his loneliness. John also discovers that Sweet Tooth has a best friend named Harley, who is, surprisingly, a paper bag. It might sound strange to think a paper bag could be anyone's best friend, but that's what Sweet Tooth's world had become. Before the show starts, Sweet Tooth reveals that Quiet is also in his captivity. This news shocks John, but despite not wanting to, he feels compelled to rescue her because the car keys are with her. Using his wits, John convinces Sweet Tooth that the more audience he has for his show, the more enjoyable it will be. Agreeing, Sweet Tooth releases Quiet from her cell, and after the show, Sweet Tooth asks for feedback. While both John and Quiet find the show boring, they don't want to hurt Sweet Tooth's feelings, so they lie and tell him it was amazing. However, Sweet Tooth doesn't like John's response and, irritated, decides to kill them. In a moment of honesty, Quiet speaks up, telling Sweet Tooth the truth, that the show wasn't good at all. Surprisingly, Sweet Tooth appreciates her honesty and, as a result, spares both of their lives. He then decides that, instead of capturing people for his show, He will leave and perform for others on his own. After setting the casino on fire, Sweet Tooth takes Harley and leaves. Outside Las Vegas, a group of cannibals, led by former security guards Mike and Stu, captures 2 people. Just then, Agent Stone and his men arrive and rescue Mike and Stu. Stone offers them a chance to join his unit, but they have to kill those who loot supplies for survival. Reluctantly, Mike convinces Stu to join, and both become part of Stone's team. The duo undergoes testing, where Agent Stone gives them sniper rifles and instructs them to guard a truck. As they approach, 2 people come toward the truck. Mike shoots one, but Stu misses the other. Mike takes care of the second one, and Agent Stone praises him, advising Stu not to make that mistake again. Later, Mike is appointed with Shepard at a checkpoint. At the same time, John and Quiet arrive. Mike demands John's license, but John is taken aback, as his map doesn't show any such checkpoint. Quiet then spots Shepard, recognizing him from the time Loud shot himself. In a fit of rage, Quiet attacks Shepard, but Mike quickly intervenes, using a stun gun to subdue her. Agent Stone uses a stun gun to knock Quiet unconscious, and once again, she is back in his custody, along with John. Stone's men arrest John and Quiet, taking them to the DMG area, where they receive open rule licenses. Meanwhile, Shepard is searching John's car when he finds a map. This map, which John had gotten from Tommy to reach New Chicago, shocks Shepard. The map was designed to avoid every checkpoint that leads to Agent Stone's area. Shepard, stunned by the map, takes it directly to Agent Stone. Upon seeing it, Stone arranges a meeting with John. Just as John tries to talk his way out of the situation, Quiet spits on his face, causing everything to spiral out of control. Stone now demands the mapmaker's full information. John and Quiet are tortured, forced to fill out numerous forms and listen to loud music. Despite everything, John refuses to reveal the mapmaker. Enraged, Agent Stone orders their execution. Stu, tasked with executing John and Quiet, tells them to jump off a cliff. Seeing the height of the cliff, both John and Quiet hesitate. In a desperate attempt, John convinces Stu not to kill him, offering him a chance to join them and escape, where he could also exert power like Stone. Greed takes over, and Stu agrees to John's offer. Before leaving, Stu collects John's keys and some supplies so they can escape easily. Meanwhile, Quiet learns that Agent Stone is heading to Topeka, and seizing the opportunity, she decides to confront Stone. However, Stone isn't in his office when she arrives. Shepard is sitting in his place, and when she demands information about Stone, Shepard refuses to talk. Furious, Quiet kills Shepard. Agent Stone's men realize that John and Quiet have escaped, and while Stu is busy pushing John's car, one of his friends sees him helping John and arrests him. Stone's men are now on the hunt for John and Quiet. During their escape, Quiet tells John that she needs to be taken to Topeka. This brings us to a flashback to 2002, when things were beginning to fall apart. We see Agent Stone trying to charm some ladies, but they don't listen to him. Frustrated by this disrespect, Stone returns home, only to find that his neighbors have stolen all his supplies. Soon after, a restaurant owner comes to Stone for help, explaining that people are looting supplies from his restaurant to feed their families. Stone, enraged, grabs his father's gun and heads to the restaurant to help. Upon arriving, people at the restaurant start insulting him. Irritated, Stone kills everyone in the restaurant. Returning to John and Quiet, who are now escaping Stone's clutches, Quiet tells John they need to go to Topeka because that's where Stone's headquarters is. John, now realizing that Quiet wants revenge for her brother Loud's death, agrees to take her there. On their way to Topeka, a group of living survivors arrest them. They meet a lady named Vex, whose grandmother is ill and needs medicine. To get the medicine, they need a milkman, and at that moment, John is the best milkman they can find. In exchange for bringing the medicine, they promise to upgrade John's car with weapons. John agrees to the deal, and they head straight to the pharmacist. When they arrive, the pharmacist, Eber, greets them, but, suspicious of them, tries to kill them by giving them medicated tea. However, when Quiet convinces Eber by talking about her grandmother, Eber agrees to give them the medicine and lets them go. On their way back, they are pursued by some religious fanatics, forcing them to hide in a theater. After watching a movie for a while, John washes Quiet's jacket, which upsets her, as Quiet's jacket had her brother Loud's blood on it. After a while, John and Quiet make their way directly to the grandmother. Upon arrival, Vex informs them that her grandmother's illness is incurable, and the medicine she asked for was only to help her pass away peacefully. John and Quiet find this strange, but soon after, the grandmother makes tea from a plant. After drinking it, she shares some wisdom, telling them that the most important thing in the world is time. If you waste it, you're the biggest fool. She advises them to take good care of their time. Afterward, the grandmother peacefully passes away. Vex, in a strange gesture, drives her grandmother's car out of the container that acted as their home and then blows it up. It seems that to Vex, this is her version of a funeral, destroying the car. Afterward, everyone celebrates, likely in honor of her grandmother's passing. John and Quiet attend the party, though it's unclear why they would throw a celebration for someone's death. After the party, John and Quiet resume their journey. After walking for a while, John and Quiet finally reach Topeka. Quiet tells John she wants to kill Agent Stone herself, so she asks him to return to Chicago. However, John doesn't agree to her request, and before they part ways, they share a victory beer. Quiet then knocks John unconscious and sets off alone to Stone's headquarters. Meanwhile, Agent Stone has sent his men to checkpoints to find Quiet. Quiet, after killing a police officer and taking their patrol car, assumes the role of an agent to infiltrate the headquarters. She enters successfully by pretending to be one of Stone's men, but upon seeing so many agents inside, she begins to doubt her decision. What will they do to her if she's caught? Suddenly, Quiet begins hallucinating and hears her brother Loud whispering in her ear, telling her that she shouldn't have come. Her gaze shifts to a statue in the center of Topeka, which turns out to be a statue of Agent Stone himself. Quiet is taken aback, realizing that they worship Stone like a god, as he controls the law and order in this lawless land. Just then, one of the agents recognizes Quiet, and she knocks them out with her car and starts fleeing. Loud, still in her mind, warns her again to abandon this stupid plan and that she shouldn't have come to Topeka at all. As Quiet drives away, she's chased by many agents. She soon realizes that fleeing is her only option, but the agents quickly surround her car. With no other choice, she faces off against Agent Stone, and they come face to face, each determined to destroy the other. So friends, what do you think? Will Quiet be able to take revenge on Agent Stone and avenge her brother's death? Or will Topeka become her graveyard? And as John, still in a drunken state, tries to help, will he save Quiet in time? I'm sorry to leave you with these questions, but I'll answer them in the next part. If you think I should continue, let me know in the comments. If I get 69 comments asking for the next part, I'll upload it that very day. I'll keep working hard to bring you more videos. Until then, goodbye.